everybody? Welcome to Just Another Nerdy Podcast. I'm Jay.
I'm Drizzt.
Tommy MF White.
Tommy MF White!
Look at him go.
Motherfucking White! You gotta just commit to it, man. Just scream it out. Tommy motherfucking White! Sorry, that was that was a lot of energy.
I used to tell people all the time, my name's Tommy MF White, and the MF stands for MF.
Stands for what?
It used to get a laugh out of tons of people.
Stands for MF.
Yeah.
Just MF.
Yeah.
Okay.
You disappoint me.
No, we all know what it stands for, but...
It stands for MF. Okay, so we're good here. Open up comments. Actually, I'm going to share this out real quick with the world, so if you guys bear with me for a moment. So, okay, guys, just to let you guys know, this is Just Another Nerdy Podcast. You can download us on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio.
And CastBox.
And CastBox. You can also, that's our home site, actually. So they let you put everything free on there, which is really, really nice. Everywhere else wants to charge you money and or will only let you do like 5 episodes or an hour or 3 hours. It's really dumb. So CastBox is 100% free. So check us out there. Give them some love.
Jay, did you pay money to get our stuff on other?
No, you don't have to. So how this works is iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, they are not a host site. They will just upload all of the information. You have to upload everything to a host site, and then you give them what they call an RSS feed, which is basically a website. Okay. And then they download all the information from there and put it up on their site. So, including like the stuff. So, but all of the host sites, so like Podbean, I've forgotten all the other ones. CastBox. There, you got to put them up there. All the other ones outside of CastBox will try to charge you in some way. CastBox does not charge you in any way. So CastBox is pretty dope. So yeah, and then you can watch us live on YouTube every Wednesday at noonish. And then just in case you guys are ever interested, we also do a writing podcast randomly at my Twitch page at Diehm. Drizzt and I are gonna do it, but we need to bring Tommy in. I forgot, Tommy, that you like wrote a book one time. Like,
I still hate writing that same book.
You still hate writing the book.
Join Team Diehm.
Yeah, become part of the Diehm stream. You'll be on Team Diehm, which is beautiful. So yeah, okay, so there's a lot of like nerd shit that went on this week, apparently last week. Did you guys keep up with San Diego Comic-Con at all?
Not super. I watched all the nerdy movie trailers.
That's the main. Yeah.
I'm excited for those.
Did you?
Shazam looks like.
Yeah, Nate. Did you get to watch? Drizzt, I'm sorry. Did you get to watch Shazam or Aquaman trailers?
No.
Okay, they were pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, I think. So if I were to analyze DC, my biggest problem with DC, and I call it the Dark Knight fever, is this idea that everything has to be over and hyper realistic and has to be explained.
Super dark and
super gritty.
It's not always just dark and gritty, but it's this idea that it has to be extremely grounded to the fact that everything has to be explained scientifically. So I was really worried about Wonder Woman initially, because they were talking about what they wanted to do with Wonder Woman was they wanted to make the Amazonians part Kryptonian, and that's what explained their superpowers. And I'm like, guys,
that'd be dumb.
Fuck off. Like, stop trying to over explain things. Let us suspend our disbelief. Like, that's why I feel like it's become this idea, because The Dark Knight did a really good job of grounding things. Mm-hmm. And there's also my firm belief as to why Christian Bale should never be Batman in a Justice League format, because the Chris Nolans are completely grounded. Mm-hmm. And that is
possible.
Yeah, that is possible. So to put Batman next to an Amazonian like part goddess to put Batman next to Superman or Green Lantern
Or
makes
Martian Manhunter. Or
to put Chris Nolan Batman next to them makes zero goddamn sense. Like it breaks the reality that is built into those movies. So
would be delightful though.
So I was really, really worried.
Yeah.
I was really worried. And then they did Wonder Woman the way they did it, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. And now it seems like Aquaman and Shazam are going to follow suit in the fact that, and it's going to take away all of the darkness, or most of the darkness, and have a brighter feel, which is interesting because, like, I think the director of Aquaman is James Wan. He directed, was it Insidious or?
Yeah.
Directed Insidious. He directed some of the Saw movies. And now he's doing Aquaman, and you would think the guy who directed like some really dark, creepy shit would
want to make it dark,
would follow suit, but no, it looks so fun. Like Aquaman looks awesome. Like I know there's a little bit of hate on the Black Manta costume because he just looks unproportionate. Like
my favorite thing to come out of all the Aquaman stuff is everyone photoshopping it online and putting Mermaid Man in there. Plays Aquaman.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen like 4 or 5 of them.
Christopher Goodrich, hey, the 3 bearded musketeers. Okay, I can dig it. So
You're also not wearing your glasses today, Jay.
no, I've been doing contacts lately. I've been less lazy. I'm coming out of a lazy hole. I think I'm just crawling into a different lazy hole, but
Hashtag life.
yeah. So, Aquaman trailer, really, really good. Black Manta looked ridiculous, but I almost think that it works because it's just owning this idea that this is a fucking comic book movie.
It's supposed to be like the fucking comic
it's
book.
Committing 100% to it. They have like mer people and shit in there, and they have like also, I mean, it just looks gorgeous and it looks fun. And then apparently they're like trying to do like an Indiana Jones like Temple of Doom type of like inspiration, where like, so part of the movie he has to go and get the original King of Atlantis's like trident, so he goes to the fucking desert into like some kind of like tomb to find it. So there's like an amazing part where is his wife named Mira, I think.
Yeah.
Mira jumps out of an airplane, and the pilot's like, what is she doing? And he goes, redheads. Jumps out, and then he does his from the Justice League movie where he's like, wow, like his like yelling, screaming. That is just him having a good time, and it just felt great. Like seeing the trailer, I was like, I'm in. Like I'm 100% in. Yeah, because my problem with Zack Snyder is every single thing has to be as dark and poopy faced as possible. Like every actor has to have the best poop face. Like, and it just has to be dark.
Are, like bland with no color too. It's all gray.
I know that they were showing clips of Batman v Superman without the effect of the Zack Snyder color effect, and it's beautiful. Like they look great. Like, and then he poop washes all of it. It's really frustrating. So then the Shazam trailer. I finally, like, I know a lot of people, I even cringed when I saw Zachary Levi?
Yeah,
Zachary Levi's initial costume picture, because it's a padded muscle suit. and it looks like really weird. But in context of the trailer, it just works.
He buffed out quite a bit for that role.
He did buff out, but
because the last thing I saw him in was Chuck, which is one of my favorite shows, and he's like skinny, scrawny, nerdy dude in that show.
I don't know. I always felt like in Chuck that he was like more fit for the outfit that they put him in. Like he was like bigger than the outfit, so almost like they were trying to put eye candy out there, but have this decently fit guy be nerdy and ridiculous. The thing that I know is not going to translate well is the day that you're going to have Captain Marvel meet. So like Zachary Levi's Captain Marvel meet Superman, Henry Cavill's Superman, because Henry Cavill is muscle. Like, he is straight muscle. He is hairy man muscle. And to put him next to Zachary Levi is going to be not quite.
If you see Henry Cavill in the Mission Impossible trailers,
I know.
In that bathroom scene where he fights Tom Cruise, he's just ripped.
I love the quote where she's like, you know, you prefer a scalpel, I prefer a hammer. And he comes out and he's like, "Bah!" And I'm like, oh, that works. Which apparently that movie's already gotten like a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but that's pre-audience.
Yeah.
So it gets released on Thursday. I've not watched any of the Mission Impossibles, and it really frustrates me because I need to, but they keep coming out with more that are on top range.
You really don't need to.
I bought the collection for $30. I watched all the originals. 1 is just okay. 2 is pretty bad. 3's okay, 4 was okay, and then 5, which is the one before this one, Ghost Protocol, was really good.
I heard 3, 4, and 5 were all fantastic. 3's got Henry Seymour
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour
Hoffman.
Henry Seymour Hoffman.
They're all pretty good. It's not my favorite action movie franchise, but
I just really want to watch it because each one looks better, and it's getting to the point where it's almost like Fast and the Furious stunt level.
Yeah.
Where each movie they have to show Tom Cruise doing something absolutely batshit crazy.
I watched Chris Stuckman's review on it, and it's one of his favorite action movie franchises. And he's like super critical when he goes to movies because I mean he's a critic, of course, but he really loved it. He gave it an A out of an F to an A+ ranking and said it was his favorite action movie he's seen in the last couple years. Because apparently each stunt is just bigger and better than the one before it in the movie, and then each stunt is like the best they could have done it. And apparently it helps for believability that Tom Cruise does like 99% of his stunts. There's no CG. It's just Tom Cruise getting the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, didn't he break his arm in the last one? Not 6, but the one before that.
There's this ridiculous part in the trailer where he's like climbing up a helicopter rope, and then he falls down and like slams into this stuff that's hanging from the helicopter. And like I was watching him on Jimmy Fallon talk about it, and Jimmy's like, "Don't you ever get like scared?" And he's like, "Oh, 24/7. I'm terrified."
Yeah,
all the time.
So those trailers, Shazam looks great though. Like it looks so good. It looks great. I love the goofiness, like, of the fact that it's like a 15-year-old turned into a superhero, and like like my favorite part is he's like, you know, "You're welcome for saving you from the bad guys," and he sees a girl and he goes, "Hey, what's up? I'm a superhero."
The thing I'm gonna like most about it is I know nothing about Shazam aside from the animated stuff,
right?
And I love going into a superhero thing knowing nothing, like with Marvel's Cloak and Dagger TV show. I'm super enjoying that.
Are you? I haven't watched it.
They're on like episode 8.
Drizzt doesn't like it.
The reason
he says it's okay.
Super enjoying it
translating
is because I know nothing about Cloak and Dagger.
Okay.
So like I went into the show blind.
I love the idea of the show. It's cool. Like, the superheroes are rad. I cannot get past the dumb bitch they have playing Dagger. I fucking hate her stupid face.
I like her.
From the dumb fuck bullshit fucking Disney Channel. I've had to watch her dumbass fucking face on TV for more than 5 fucking years, whatever dumb fucking show she was on, because my little sister loved the fucking Disney Channel. I can't fucking do it, Tommy.
I can do it. I think she's fantastic. She's a great actress.
Fucking sucks.
I haven't taken any it's like Inhumans. I probably won't touch it ever.
Don't bother.
I wasn't going to.
I know.
They put it on Hulu.
I've heard Inhumans is just
meh.
Horrible.
Trash garbage.
Which sucks because one of my favorite guys from Misfits is on there as the bad guy.
The dude from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's him.
Dogs.
Yeah, that's this guy from Misfits. He was
he's from Misfits. Like, I've just been seeing people pop up from Misfits here and there, and I'm like, wow. Like, I've been watching, actually, so I stopped mid-season 2 of Preacher, and then I started picking it up last night. And there's a dude from the later half of Misfits in there as a vampire, and he's amazing.
Fuck your sister for a piece of cheese. You don't like cheese. Makes it worse, you sick fuck.
I bet you're a fan of what's his name? What is the main It's that really fucking trolly kid. I can't remember his name.
I can't either.
It's Mickey, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Mickey. I love Mickey. Mickey's beautiful. Like, one of my favorite episodes where they're all sitting on the roof and Mickey's lotioning himself up like a douche. Like a douche.
Who fucking does that?
They just wrote Mickey out, and I was like, I hope you all burn in hell for writing Mickey out.
That character was amazing.
He was the best part of the show. I've been trying to watch it since he left the show, and I can't. Like, I really can't.
Like, we were talking last week about Shameless, and as much as I that show, I don't like it, but I can't stop watching it.
Saturday is the release of season 8 on Netflix, and then in September, season 9 starts.
It's not that I don't like the show. It's a good show. It's well made. The acting is amazing. It's just...
It's hard.
It's hard to watch.
Sometimes there are things, like, I know people who quit watching because of, like, shit Frank did. Like, the number one... like killer of viewers that I've heard of so far is when Frank
Funky Gallagher is the number one killer of viewers.
Frank lets that woman with the heart die. Like, there's a woman with a heart issue, and like, I don't remember why he needs the heart, but he like ends up stopping her from getting the... Oh no, it's so he can collect her fucking money. He's going to collect her insurance money or whatever after she dies, so he stops her from getting the heart, and she dies. She dies when he has sex with her, because he knows it'll kill her. And then he goes to collect the insurance money, and it's just... It's such a low feat. And it's like a lot for me though. I just kept going. Everyone else stopped. That's where they like. My sister was like, I couldn't for a really long time. I could not continue, so she had to kind of forget it. And for which is funny because like the reason why I stopped watching Breaking Bad for a very long time is when Walt watches Jesse's girlfriend just die. Yeah, he just watches her OD, and I was like, fuck Walt.
Spoilers for a show that's been out since 2011.
Yeah, if you haven't been watching.
It's been completed for like
Breaking Bad, yeah. Spoilers for Better Call Saul, kind of.
I guess a little bit.
I don't know. I stopped watching. I stopped, and then I've been trickling in. But I realized when I came back how much I hate Skylar, like his wife.
Join the rest of everyone who's ever seen the show.
I don't know what it is, but I think Skylar's the worst. And I can't do it anymore. And Walt is just amazing because he's almost like Frank but evil. Like Frank's just a dick. Like he's a well-intentioned dick who will like
Frank
do terrible
is an agent
things.
Of chaos.
He's an agent of chaos, where Walt is just straight evil. Like he's evil personified. Someone had an article out a while ago asking, was he ever a good person?
Or was it just who he was pretending to be?
Yeah, he was just pretending. He's like, was he truly just evil from the start? So, another thing I was going to talk about, and this is actually what I named the episode after, is it James Gunn? Yeah, James Gunn got fired. The director for Guardians of the Galaxy.
For some tweets from 2009.
Yeah, he tweeted some really insensitive shit in 2009. And
the way he explained it and the way it was explained through various other sources, he used to be one of those shock and awe people. He was a troll. A troll on purpose. He would post just outlandish, nasty, disgusting
something
stuff.
about pedophilia.
He made a joke. He made a joke in support of pedophilia, and then he made a really insensitive rape joke. But it was in 2009, and like somebody just happened to dredge it up on his Twitter and bring it up to Disney, and so Disney fired him. Yeah, Disney fired him immediately. Jesus. No, I'm good. Thank you. So Disney immediately fired him. Wow. So, here's my thoughts. Right? Okay. So this is a tweet. These are tweets from 2009. They're offensive, for sure. But, I mean, he'd even said before his firing, he was like, look, I'm a different person.
I watched it and agreed about Skylar. Right? Fuck Skylar. So, anyways,
Thank you, Chris.
he put out a lot of tweets saying, like, I'm a different person. He goes, I've grown, and I'm proud of the fact that I've grown. And Disney was like, yeah, fired.
Fans are raging right now, and so is apparently all the cast and everybody.
Oh yeah, everyone's pissed. And so here's the funny thing though, is out of this, Roseanne has come out and been like, why are you defending him but not me?
He's disgusting.
No one likes you, Roseanne.
Well, here's the deal. Okay, so this is the difference, Roseanne. I'm giving you this message
racist
right here.
Now.
Yeah, you were still defending your shit. Maybe not even racist, just fucking insensitive and shitheaded.
She had another interview like last week where she was trying to. They brought her on to ask her questions. She's
still excusing her shit. And
yeah, literally, they were like, explain yourself. And instead of explaining herself and like apologizing, she just doubled down on it.
Obama! So here's the deal. Like, there was an article like the other day that was like, I got fired because I'm a Trump supporter. Fuck you, Roseanne. Here's my deal. Yeah, like Drizzt said, you're racist now. Tim Gunn is
James Gunn.
James Gunn. Tim is his brother. James has changed into Tim. No, James has changed. He's a different person. He's a grown up now, and so
he's a full person.
Here's my beef, Disney.
Tell us what your beef is.
I'm addressing you.
Like it's Wendy's.
You don't have a lot of really fucking good directors. You have some, but you've burned a lot of bridges. Like, so there was James Gunn, who they still have Taika Waititi, and they still have Ryan Coogler. Those two have only done one movie, so we only have proof that they can do one really good movie. Mm-hmm. And then they've got the Russo brothers.
Yep.
That's it. Like, Ant-Man and the Wasp was all right. Your other movies are all right, but right now you have a handful of people. Used to have
I didn't see
Edgar Wright, but they burned bridges with Edgar Wright. Mm-hmm. And then they had so on the Star Wars side of things, they had the Phil and Chris Lord. Mm-hmm. The guys who did the Lego movie, they did the 21 and 22 Jump Street. Those guys, they had them for Solo and then fired them. So they're burning bridges with extremely talented directors.
They would have made Solo campy and fun.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to go with the vision that Disney wanted to stick with, which...
They had Dong Lover in that movie, for Christ's sake.
Which I'm just going to say, was it Ryan Johnson? Ryan Johnson?
Yeah, Ryan.
So why the fuck would you fire those two and keep him on to just rape the shit out of the second... I'm sorry to say it that way, but they just destroyed the second Star Wars movie and like everything that it was supposed to be about. So it's mixed messaging. Now, Philip DeFranco brought up a point that it's possible right now they're trying their hardest not to rock the boat because of the fact that they're buying Fox right now, and they're in the closing deal. Comcast is out.
There's like a shareholder meeting today.
Yeah, there's a shareholder meeting. So they're trying their hardest not to
piss off their fan base.
Yeah, fuck everything up. But you did kind of fuck things up. The only thing that really pisses me off is the fact that no matter what, though, they're gonna get away with it. Like my first thought is, boycott Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's gonna be like 2 or 3 years from now. Like, my anger is gonna be far subsided by then.
You do not understand the bounds of my rage.
I'm just saying, though, like 90% of the people who are pissed off right now are still gonna go to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in 2 to 3 years from now.
I was dissociating when I saw the second one, so I remember sitting in a dark theater, staring at a screen full of colors for 2 hours, and then leaving.
that's the movie though.
This much.
Yeah.
I mean, there was one scene I remember specifically, mainly because it snapped me out of my dissociative fugue to piss me off.
What was it?
It was the tape scene when they're placing the bomb, I think.
Oh, you don't like the tape scene?
No.
I love the tape scene.
It was a little much.
It
It was trying too hard.
That was a trailer scene, so I think for me it was kind of dulled by then. But
a lot of that movie was trying too hard.
I don't know. I dug it. I did not. Tommy didn't even dig it.
It remained undug.
I'm in the minority.
By the Diehm.
I've seen that movie like 4 times. It's not one of my favorites.
Thank you, Tommy.
I don't think I'm. It's hard to put in a favorites when you've got 20 movies. Like they're at 20 now.
Yeah.
It's hard to put in my favorites. There's very few that are at my like top, and a lot of them are Captain America. Like Captain America.
Captain America 2.
Captain America 2 is awesome.
Amazing. It's a good enough movie that people who hate Marvel or dislike superhero movies watched it and were like, hey, really good movie.
It was one of the first movies that they finally got the idea that like you make different movies with each movie. So they were like, let's do a political thriller.
Wow.
And the Russo brothers,
movies are supposed to be different.
The Russo brothers get it. That's why Infinity War was so fucking good, was because it was directed by the Russo brothers, written and directed by them.
Infinity War is only pain.
Oh god, it is tragedy.
Oh my god.
It's so effective that like it almost ruins one of the funniest end credit scenes for Ant-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind if I spoil it?
I'm not super invested in Ant-Man. I
love both of them.
I like Phil Rudd, is it? Or is it Paul?
Rudd?
I always get him and the drummer for AC/DC confused.
Oh, yeah.
One of them plays a superhero for movies, and the other one hired a man to kill his ex-wife.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's on trial for it right now.
Paul Rudd is way more than Ant-Man.
He's great.
He's delicious in everything he's in.
He really is.
So anyways, the end of it. Okay, so spoilers for the end credit scene of Ant-Man, which is the one that everyone says to skip anyways, because it's not worth waiting.
Skip any of them.
But it's like you get to the end and like the snap has occurred, and there's like an emergency channel going like on the TV. It's like
I believe it's called the Great Culling.
Oh, everyone's just referring to it as the snappening.
The snappening.
So anyways,
didn't the comics call it Thanos' Great Culling or something like that?
Probably.
Like that.
Everyone's referring to it as the snap.
Some fucking language. Don't call it the snapping, you fuckers.
You're in the minority now.
God damn it.
So anyways, they snap. And it's at the end, and it's so they said they program this ant to go through all of Paul Rudd's daily routines while he's on house arrest. So you constantly keep clipping back and referring to the ant playing the drums.
He's playing the drums on, I think it's Guitar Hero or something like that.
I'm pretty sure it's just an electric drum kit. Everyone was like, it's Guitar Hero. He's not near a TV or anything.
Yeah.
He's just in the middle of a fucking hallway. It's just an electric drum kit. You can just plug some headphones into it and you can hear what you're... So the ant sitting there with the headphones. So at the end of it, though, it's at the very end scene. Because like you would assume now that he's been home, they would have just like deprogrammed the ant, but no. No. They just left the ant going. So at the end of the snap, it's like emergency broadcast stations. And then it gets over and there's the ant still fucking playing the drums.
A lot of people didn't like that scene. I thought it was hilarious.
Well, so it's the fact that like Infinity War was so strong that emergency broadcast signal causes extremely mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Like you want to laugh, but you're also like, oh my fucking god, it's the end of the world. Like
half of the universe is dead.
Gone. They're just gone.
The best end credit scene is still the Captain America one when he's like, so you're here. You watched to the end of the Marvel
Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, God,
no,
those killed me.
He just comes out and he goes,
about disappointment.
He just got weird to talk about disappointment.
Yeah.
It was the best troll.
Yes, it was.
I've seen it a long time. Everyone was like, yeah, it's not worth it. I'm like, no, 100% worth it.
Actually, watch it. It is
16 movies in.
And then they decide to troll us.
They fucking troll you. Hard, too.
I think Howard the Duck at the end of the first Guardians of the Galaxy was a pretty hardcore troll.
Yeah, my buddy and I were just like, oh, shit! It's Howard the Duck! Do you know who played him?
Howard the Duck.
Seth Green.
Yeah.
Voiced him for that. Good job.
He's good at doing voices.
Seth Green is a magical man.
He's in my favorite video game series, Mass Effect.
Oh, yeah, he is. I remember.
He's in Mass Effect?
He's like the pilot.
He plays a character named Joker.
I don't play Spunk Gargle Wee Wee games, so.
What did I start something? No, Super Mario World. Sorry, we already talked about that.
We were talking about Super Mario World.
I played some Super. I got the SNES Classic, which is my jam. So what pisses me off is there are shirts out there that have the NES Classic or the NES controller, and it just says classically trained. And I'm like, where the fuck are the SNES Classic controller shirts?
Right, that was my console growing up.
Yeah, that was my classically trained. Like, I had 4 buttons, bitch. Like, deal with it.
I had a NES growing up, but when I did, I was young enough that I don't remember. I just remember having one. But all my fondest early video game memories are from Super Nintendo.
Yeah, a lot of my friends had the NES, and then I had the SNES, and like I played the 3 games that I played. One of them I don't even know. It was like something like Blaze or something like that. There's something. All I remember is like one of the bosses. I think it's the second one. Was a giant rolling eyeball. It would roll through the room, and you would have to climb up the wall, jump over the eyeball, and every time you hit the eyeball, it would grow bigger. So then you'd have less room to jump. You have to do it like 3 or 4 times.
Contra boss.
And then I played Super Mario World. Actually, it was Super Mario All-Stars plus Super Mario World. So I had like all the Marios. And then I played some. I never owned it, but I played like Link to the Past. And then I had Page Master. There was a video game for Page Master, and that's the one that I beat.
That's my favorite movie.
So much rage for Link to the Past, because I was like 6 or 7 trying to play and figure out that game and beat it. Oh, I used to rage all the time. I'd get mad and chuck my controller. My aunt and uncle
good thing those things were made of steel.
Right? Yeah. My buddy talked about how he used to take it, and he had the hardwood edge of the bed, and he'd be sitting on his bed, and he would take it by the cord, and he would go and like smack it as hard as he could when he was pissed. And those things took a beating. Like, they took a fucking beating, man. I'm afraid of that controller breaking.
Toss a NES down a flight of stairs, plug it in, and play it just fine. I
had a friend, actually, so talking about Nintendo structural integrity. He had the original DS, that weird blocky looking thing.
That thing was a tank.
Threw it out of the car on the interstate. Stopped the car, went out and picked it up. It was busted in half, just held together by a wire. Turned it on, played it.
Same thing. Like years and years ago, I didn't own a DS at the time because I couldn't afford one. And my buddy Will Morrison had one of the old giant bricks, and I gave him a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards I had laying around for it. And I had that thing for years. The color was going out, so like it was all black and white and all weird colors, and it was held on by one little like wire. Still played it for years, and the top part eventually broke off, and it didn't work. Still kept the bottom, used it as a Game Boy Advance for years. Still worked, charged up and everything.
See, I mean, that's like Nintendo used to have serious integrity with their consoles.
Do you remember G4? It was an old video game channel.
Yeah.
I watched a show on there one time where they were talking about console durability, and they took an original Xbox and they threw it out of like a 4-story window, and it slammed into the ground. And then they grabbed it and they brought it back up to their office, and it didn't play. And they took the old PS2 Slim and dropped it out the window, and it slammed down. Took it back up to their office, and it didn't play. They took the Nintendo GameCube by the handle and like football slammed that thing 4 stories. It still played. They were like, They slammed it down again, and then they hit it like 8 or 9 times with a baseball bat and just beat the hell out of it. Took it upstairs, loaded it up, still played Super Mario Sunshine. Like they were like, what the hell?
That's weird though, because like I had like a GameCube, and it was sitting on a shelf like that high, and my niece tripped on it, and it came down, and it broke the disc, like the rotating piece on the disc.
Mine took a beating. And
mine never took a beating. I treated it really well, and in that one time I left my niece and my nephews to play it for like an hour, and they fucking destroyed it.
It betrayed you.
I love them.
I treated mine really well. I got mad because a family member, I had gotten a new console. I got a PS3, and they were like, I don't have a game console to play. And I thought it was being nice. I was like, you can have my original GameCube that I had. I was like, you can have that. Got like 10 games with it. No, I had like 15 or 16 games. So I gave it to my mom because she didn't have a game system at her house, and me and my brother would go there on occasion. And I was all like, here you go, Mom. Now we have something to play at your house. And then she sold it in her yard sale for $15.
I wonder.
I was angry.
I feel like the person that would have bought that would be Tyler White. Or not Tyler White. Fuck.
Tyler Lewis.
Tyler Lewis.
I don't know. But my mom sold my Double Dash. That's a $40 game.
Yep.
Both of my Pokemon games, those are $40 a piece. I had Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door. That's a $40 game. Smash Brothers is still around $40 for Melee. All these $40 games. I had 4 controllers, 3 memory cards.
It's been about 2 or 3 times now I've seen this lady pop up. I don't know if it's the same lady, but on Grinnell for sale.
She sold a whole lot of it for $15?
She sold all of it for $15. And they didn't give me any of the money, even though it was my GameCube that I left at her house.
Whoever bought it from her robbed her fucking blind.
Oh, they knew it too. They were probably like...
Tyler Lewis.
And so, the funny thing is, it's all thanks to my brother. Because somebody asked my mom, like, what would you want for this? And instead of calling me and asking me what it's worth, my mom called my brother, and my brother was laughing his ass off over the phone when he's like, $15 seems fair. And so my mom sold it for $15.
Your brother's the goddamn devil.
My brother thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
Fuck, man.
And yes, my brother is the goddamn devil.
I reject you, mower. Yeah, no, that's terrible.
That is just
the worst. That's like, so my buddy was telling me a story about how his little brother, now granted he was a little kid at the time, so he did not know, decided to one by one release all 151 of his Pokemon on his original, it was red or blue copy, I don't remember which. One of them being, I think it was Mew, that you could wait in the line at like a Toys R Us for or something. You gotta like wait in line, and you got the code.
One of the only 2 ways to get Mew back.
It was, yeah, he got Mew, and his brother released him into the wild.
That's like...
This is... Oh my god! So this brings up a story. I'm so sorry. I have to tell you this. This is... Oh, I just flashed back, like hard, to a gamer's memory.
Tommy, we've awakened something in Jay.
Do you guys know... God, what were their names? Like, the one guy was named Clayton, I think. He's hardcore into Pokemon.
The fuck you talking about?
Was it Clayton Flores?
Yeah, the Flores brothers!
Brother Trace? Yeah, there's...
These fucking kids come into gamers, and they will talk hours about Pokemon, right?
The thing about them is they don't look like it. They don't look like they fucking play any video games.
They look like rednecks.
I used to play Pokemon.
His brother looks like a nerd, but Clayton does not.
No.
But let me tell you something. Okay, you gotta listen to this story. This is amazing. So Clayton would come in.
Is it amazeballs, Jared?
He would talk to me about Pokemon, and he would be dead serious about it. Like, there's points where I'd kind of chuckle and go,
he was serious.
He was like, no, this is not funny. He was dead serious about Pokemon. And he comes in one day. This is my favorite thing ever. He comes in one day and he looks David, the owner of Gamers, in the eye, and he goes, I got a serious question. What are you doing with the Pokemon? Like when you get the games in, what do you do with the Pokemon? David's like, well, It's like store policy. Like, we have to reformat the games. He's like, so what you're saying is, like, you're killing those Pokemon. And David's like, well, he's like, we reformatted so they are deleted. And he's like, look, man, I'm just saying, like, I'm serious. Here's the thing, like, people spend a lot of time, like, an effort, like, into, like, building these Pokemon up and catching them and evolving them, and they even name them, man. They name them. And David's like, yep. And he goes, no, I'm serious, man. It's like, he goes, I'm serious, man. He goes, it's like these Pokemon are alive. These Pokemon are alive, man. No, I'm not joking with you. I'm serious. People put time and effort and spend time with them and name them. They're living. They're living creatures. He goes, here, man. Here's what I'm saying. Okay. He's like, here's what I'm saying, man. Here's what I want you to do. He's like, oh, I'm serious, man. Here's what I want you to do. Okay. Like, just let us borrow the games for like a minute before you get rid of them. So there's this app, man, on the DS. There's an app. What you do is you download the Pokemon onto the 3DS, right? You download them on there, and there's a thing where you release them into the wild, and other players can find and catch them in these like Pokemon games, like if they're online. So like, it's like you're saving their lives, man. I'm serious. It's far out. He's like, I'm not kidding, man. Like, you saved their lives. And I'm just, look, I know, man. I know it sounds ridiculous.
Pokemon are just scraps of code. But I don't disagree with him when he says they're all unique, because statistically speaking, no Pokemon is like another.
Well, yeah, because of the IVs and the EVs and shit.
Yeah, the IVs and everything.
It's my friend sat me down and started explaining to me like the statistics, and I was like, Jesus Christ. He's like, yeah, man. He looks at me. He's like, man, I'm working on my Pokemon. I've got them up like to this, and then I'm breeding them with these. And I'm like, what's the point of breeding your Pokemon?
It's the eugenics simulator. Happy Hitler Game 2000.
It's amazing, but it's this idea. But what he wanted to do was take every game before we ever reformatted them,
and release all the
Pokemon into the wild online. So then those people's Pokemon will live forever.
You don't.
That's fucking stupid.
You know the struggle. I got super into Pokemon.
David just straight up said no.
And I was playing one of the Pokemon games, and I got into competitive battling for a while because I did a tournament and I did pretty well. And I was like, I'm gonna do this EV and IV training. You have to catch the same Pokemon like 400 times till you get one with the right nature, and then you gotta fly to this dude, and he'll tell you all the. It's EVs, or he'll tell you whether your Pokemon has good EVs, and then you have to take that and you have to go find a Ditto, and you have to catch Ditto after Ditto after Ditto till it has perfect EVs, and then you get this certain item that you give to one of the Pokemon which lets it pass down its IVs, and then another item lets it pass down its moves, and then you have to breed like 3,000 eggs and you have to hatch each one, which take like 3,000 to 10,000 in-game steps. And you have to keep hatching them till you get a baby with the perfect EVs. So I had
and nature
and all that. I had 1,000 hours on my Pokemon X and Y just breeding. I had 3 different competitive battling teams. I spent so much time, and then after I was done with all that stuff,
you just cut the edge of the disc.
They came out with this item called a power save that one of my buddies bought, and literally. He plugged his X and Y into this power save, plugged it into the 3DS, hit 3 buttons, and every Pokemon he had was level 100, shiny, max stats, max EVs, max IVs, and I was like, do you not see my play clock? Do you not see my play clock? And he's like, yeah, I've played like 3 hours.
It's bullshit.
I was angry.
That's one of the things I actually appreciate about the Pokemon series is this idea that like it can be as simple as you got to catch them all. But if you want, you really can complicate the shit out of the game and play it. Like if you get into it, yeah.
There's like 800 Pokemon now, so catching them all isn't simple.
I know a guy who's a Pokemon master. He has caught every Pokemon in every game since he started playing.
That's my friend Will did that.
That's a true Pokemon master.
Sucked because to transfer from the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games into Diamond and Pearl, which me and my friend Willie helped him do, you can only transfer 6 at a time. And then you have to do this awful mini game where you throw Pokeballs at him to catch him. And 6 at a time when there was like 398 Pokemon.
Pokemon's trolling you like
awful.
A bitch.
Yeah, no, it took forever.
So I mean, it's just like, to me, I appreciate the idea that you can make something like really complicated or simple. Like it's up to you. And it's interesting to think about the idea that like something so simple can also be so deep if you really look into it. It's not like Skyrim's just great because you get to like walk around and shit, and you got different characters you can make. But Skyrim is what Skyrim is. You know,
roam the hills like a fucking lunatic, killing everything you come to.
Right. I thought about that. Like someone brought up a point in the game where like, how many people have you murdered? And I was like, I haven't murdered. Wait.
There's a thing in the settings that tell you how many murders you've committed.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I did not know that.
So
will it tell you count for bunnies slaughtered?
Will it tell? I haven't killed a lot of bunnies.
I kill every fucking rabbit I see in that game.
Do you really?
I want to see how high I can get that fucking number.
I gave up
with a blade though. You can't shoot them with a bow.
Oh, fuck that!
Slaughter them.
Oh man, I'd sneak attack shit out of those bunnies.
So how many? Like, how many? Does it tell you how many like innocents you've murdered, or how many?
That's what makes it a murder.
Okay. So I wonder sometimes, because like there was one actually like I've done it twice now for both campaigns that I have open, where I walked into that cave of like cannibals and I just murdered all the cannibals. And then you know what? Apparently I was friends with some of those cannibals, so I got their inheritance later.
So I don't know if either of you have ever done this while playing Skyrim. You're sneaking and you got your bow out and you see the person that you've got to fucking kill and they're walking. And then you let loose your fucking arrow, and it hits him right in the fucking dome, and you were hidden, so you get ×3 damage, and you have a fucking chaos enchantment on your bow, and you fucking kill him right out. You get a sneak attack, and it fucking zooms in on him, and you're like, oh no, that was just some guy walking.
That's my worry about the bow kills.
That was some guy.
I leveled up my sneak so much. I got that skill where you could drop down right in front of somebody, and for like 4 seconds you were invisible. So I called it run and gun. My favorite thing was just to run up to people, drop down, pull up the bow really quick, and just shoot them in the face for sneak attack damage. It was hilarious.
Yeah, there's some really good sneak.
I was like, there's no way this would ever work, but Skyrim.
My favorite thing is like,
fuck you, Skyrim logic.
You find one guy, so like there'll be like a room of like 5 people, and you get like a shot on one of them, and then the other guy gets up to look, shoot him. Next guy gets up, like one at a time. It's beautiful.
It got a lot harder when I downloaded the mod to make it realistic. Like you have to set up camps all the time, and you can get thirsty and hungry, and you can die of starvation.
I guess mods can make it more complicated.
That's lame.
No, it makes it super realistic. It makes it super stressful, actually.
I don't play video games to be stressed, Tommy.
Sounds like Don't Starve, but with Skyrim. Don't Starve is one of my favorite games ever, but that's because it's made by trolls. Have you ever? Yeah, I was gonna say that is one of my favorite games ever. Well, so the best thing. So I was watching this guy named Sips play it. He's part of the Yogscast, and everyone kept saying, "Watch out for the deer clops. Watch out for the deer clops." He's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he never saw the deer clops, and I thought people were fucking trolling him. And then I started playing. And I got to winter finally.
And then you saw the deer clops.
Well, I'm at the end of winter, and I'm just like, all the penguins are gone. I'm like, I'm taking all their eggs. So I take all their eggs, and I just hear, and the whole camera shakes. And I was like, the fuck was that? And I keep walking around, it keeps happening. So I go and I put the eggs back. Because I thought maybe that's what did it. And it kept happening. And that deer clops came in and just destroyed my base. Like and I'm running in a small circle in the fire, trying to dodge all of his hits. That was, oh my god. I have figured out though, there are a couple of ways to either pacify or kill the deer clops. One of the campaigns I played, he murdered like 3 or 4 pigs and was like, I'm good, and left. like he has like a meter or something of like, just like a shit he needs to destroy, and he destroys the pig houses and the pigs, and that just fills him right up. He's like, I'm good, and walks away. And then this last campaign that I played, I had a field of like, had to be like 50 beefalo. And I just dodging in between the beefalo, and he starts wrecking those beefalo, and he murdered like 45 of those beefalo. It took the last like 4 or 5 to kill him, and I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of beefalo fur. I ran around and picked up all the meat and the fur.
Be so warm.
Mods make that game super fun too.
There are some really cool ones. Like, you can play as like different characters. There's different stuff you can do.
The most broken character you can play in Don't Starve Together, there's a mod to play as Magikarp. Except it's golden Magikarp, and he's constantly shining, so you always have light. And he's the fastest character in the game. Magikarp. That's
great. And they're doing a really good job of keeping it up with it with DLC. Like, they just added a Hamlet one, so like you're in like mid 1800s England, but like the people are like pig people. It's really interesting.
Sounds accurate.
Yeah, it's really interesting. They do a good job of keeping it up and doing different stuff. I just have a tough time because I'm still trying to master the original.
Not starving.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's pretty simple. Eat.
It's a fun game though. It's one of my favorites. It trolls you. That's all it does, is it trolls you. Even when you think you figured it out, it's like, no. And then I went over to Don't Starve Together and played with some friends, and I was like, I'm the most experienced player, so I'm like telling everybody stuff, and I hear my brother-in-law over the mic, he's like, hey, I found these footprints. I'm like, yeah, if you follow them, you'll find like this snuffleupagus looking thing. You gotta trap it in a corner. If you kill it, you can make like earmuffs and shit that'll last forever. It'll keep you super warm. He's like, awesome. So he starts following him. And Don't Starve Together, if you follow the footprints, you find a giant wolf that is followed by 3 fire wolves. So I hear him screaming, and I'm like, don't worry, it's not gonna hurt you. He's like, nope. And what does he do? And keep in mind, we were like way far into the game at this point, and he brings the wolf back to base. And it murders 2 of us. We finally get killed, and then it destroys our base. And the firewolves destroy our base, and then kills the last of us. And I'm like, this is a blast. My buddy Jakenberries is like so upset because he spent all that time working on the base. And I'm like, look. The magical thing about this game is the idea that when it finally comes time, like, you don't go lightly into the dark, you go hard. Like, it is epic.
Rage.
Every time.
The dying of the light.
It is the funniest thing. It is always a story. There's always a story.
Yeah, like, I thoroughly enjoyed the game by myself, but when I played with like 6 other friends, like, it was a blast.
Yeah, it's a really good time. And some people are smarter than others, so it helps out, but that's my jam. That game is my jam. I've been wanting to play Oxygen Not Included. What are you? Oh, it looked like you were staring off laughing at something on my shelf.
No, I was zoning out. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay, that's all right. You guys are tired. I get it. I probably slept the most here.
How much did you sleep?
Like 6 hours.
So 3.5.
Yeah. I was up till about 2:30 watching Preacher, and I was like, I gotta go to bed.
You were just asleep,
and
then
now.
You got here.
Yeah, we're at 0.
I fell asleep for like an hour, and then I woke up and it was such a deep hour of sleep, I freaked the fuck out, and I was like, I'm late again, oh my god!
Just sprinted out the door.
And so I threw on sweatpants, even though it's like a billion degrees out, and then I was like out the door. I was trying to put on shoes as I go out the door, then I ran back in for the blue controller.
Yeah.
I ran back out the door, and then I was running here, and then I looked at my phone, and I was like, oh, I still got 20 minutes, why am I running?
Yeah, did you bring that Nintendo cable you were talking about?
Oh, I forgot the box. It's
okay. Don't freak out. Don't worry. I was just asking because I was like,
I was tired, and I remembered one of the things.
I get you. Well, the controller I can give my dad, so. What?
I actually woke up late.
Yeah, because I was like, is he...
I woke up late, and then I got stuck behind a fucking slow-moving vehicle on my way here.
That is the worst.
I was going fucking 32 miles an hour on the fucking highway.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so...
Especially when those slow-moving vehicles are, like, all over the road, so if you go to try and pass them, they swerve that way, and you're like, come on.
I had a bit of a... So, from the last time you guys saw me... So Thursday I had to drive up in the middle of those massive tornadoes into Des Moines to go get my tux. I ended up in Ankeny.
He's alive.
Yeah, I ended up in Ankeny, and I just hear... It's a sunny day. I'll look at the barista at Starbucks because I decided, hey, there's a Starbucks drive-thru. I've never experienced that before in my life. So
it's infuriating.
It was nice. It was, but I looked at her. I go, "Is that a tornado siren?" She's like, "Yeah. Hopefully you don't get hit waiting for your triple mocha frappuccino." Thanks, bitch.
Best barista ever.
She works at Starbucks. She's probably ready for the end. Like, come on, where's that tornado?
She makes $9.25 an hour tops. She doesn't have time to give a fuck whether or not you get flung 56 miles by the fucking force of nature while you're reaching for your goddamn mocha choca bullshit. All right.
People freak out too much. I was at Coming buying a fountain pop in Grinnell. And it had lightly sprinkled that day and done nothing else, and they were freaking out. The two girls, and they were like, what do we do? Bad storms. I was like, it's sprinkling out.
I was looking around, and I'm like, you know what? Like, this isn't bad. Like, but it was weird. Like, on the way up, like, there's tornadoes touching down everywhere, and everywhere I was going was pure sunshine with wet ground.
Yeah, my mom...
Like, it was freaky.
...lives in Marshalltown.
Oh, no.
So...
Lived? Is she okay?
No, she's fine.
Okay. I was like, oh my god!
No, she had my sister and my brother messaged her over and over and over, and I tried to get a hold of her, and she didn't answer anybody, and so everyone was like, oh my god, like, is she okay? And then literally, like, later that night, she messages my sister, like, 6-7 hours later after they were trying to get a hold of her, and she's like, oh, I'm fine, I wasn't even in town.
Yeah, my buddy Ryan was actually working there, and he had to go to the basement. His business, like the place that he worked, the bike shop, is gone. Like he's like, yeah, well, I'm without a job, so he hopped on Ragbri, and he's planning on doing it for 3 days anyways, but now he's riding the whole Ragbri turning wrenches, because I guess, like, this is a thing I wish I would have learned when I was younger, is like how to fix bikes, because if you ride along on Ragbri, you make a shitload of money fixing bikes. And that's what he's doing right now because he has no job because he got hit by a tornado.
So, fun fact about the way my family views horrible storms and what to do. I grew up in a trailer, and there are no stable walls in a home that's on wheels.
Yeah, I know.
So, whenever there was a bad storm or like a tornado advisory, you know how it gets pale yellow outside and the air gets real heavy and the wind starts going. Well, me and my ma and my brother and sister, we would go out on the front lawn and put out our lawn chairs and watch the storm roll in.
So my wife drove like 40 across town to get to my parents where there's a basement. Mm-hmm. And she's sitting on the couch closest to the door to the basement to go down there if something happens. And my mom and my dad and I are all on the porch looking out. And my mom just looks at me and says, "That's the color of the sky. That one time we got hit by a tornado." And I just go, huh. And my wife's calling her mom like it's her last day. And we're all just... like, it's just something in your own blood to just fucking go outside and look.
You just don't fucking care.
So, like, you know how many people got really good coverage of those tornadoes?
A lot.
My mom shared me.
We're outside with a cell phone coming straight out of going.
My mom.
This is going to Twitter.
Picture from the interstate, and somebody had taken it out of their car, and I swear to God, their car would have been like here, and the tornado was like at those little pine trees out there, and it was just crystal clear. Like, my mom's like, "Look at how big this tornado is." Somebody shared this picture. I was like, "What the fuck was still on the road?" I would have turned the other way.
An Iowan. That is true blue Iowan blood right there. Is to go outside.
Tornado.
I went to school. I went to school in Wisconsin too. Like about a year after I left. Got nailed by a tornado. Like, I'm not kidding. It got ripped up all the way through town. And so I have some friends who their ritual was to definitely to get high and dance in the rain. And they happened to have been out that night getting high, dancing in the rain. And they still talk about that fateful night. They got picked up and chucked against a fucking tree. They're okay. They were all okay. But one lady, too, who was like, she owned the flower shop or the bridal boutique. I don't know. She owned one of them. She was at home. Her husband was out storm chasing.
Of course it was.
And she's on a 2-story, and so she was on the second story, and somehow the bottom story got ripped out from underneath her, and she fell into the middle. And like she fucked up her back bad. Like, I mean, she had to like get like rods put in there and shit. So I mean, it was bad for her. Nobody died, fortunately, but she got messed up. And like the last story that I have from that is my buddy's friend. She was out driving and her car got picked up. She ducked under the steering wheel. Her car got picked up and chucked into Dunkin' Donuts. So she comes up and there's all the people in Dunkin' Donuts just looking at her like. And then she lived in the top dorm of the brand new dorms, which was like a skyscraper. It's not like that. It's like probably 7 stories tall. But that tornado ripped the roof off, and no one knew she was gone. So they hear the roof get ripped off. They go up into her place, and she's nowhere to be found, and the roof is gone. So they're like, she just got taken. Like, luckily she survived, but was chucked into a Dunkin' Donuts. So it was an interesting story, but like everyone had that horrible story about the tornadoes coming and how they're all hiding and shit. And here's my family outside. I don't know, man. We just don't care. Like, but that was a crazy weekend. And then this weekend we went to Indiana for my friend's wedding. We're all nerds. So we drive up and it was like road construction all the way through. We went to Bloomington, Indiana. But we're all nerds and stuff. When we got back together, it was actually kind of nice because it was like we'd never been apart. Like, we just started hanging out and shit. We went to the Barcade down there. It was called The Cade in Bloomington, Indiana. Better than Up Down because all the machines are free. So you don't have to put any tokens in. Because I was like, where do I put the tokens? And I could just hit the start button. I was like, oh, cool. But then it created another issue. I had to find the start button on all the games because they hide them. So, you get all the free games. They had alcoholic slushies. Oh, it was sort of the bachelor party for that night. Let's just say I got white girl wasted that whole time. I was having a good time. Yeah. Well, anyway, I was on my.
You puked from the sugar in a wine cooler before you puked from the alcohol.
Right.
Yeah. So I had an alcoholic slushie. We did fireball shots. I do vodka cherry lemonades.
That sounds delicious.
Then I had what I call a stubby island because that was not a fucking Long Island that man handed me. I almost bitch slapped him.
A stubby island.
It was really frustrating. And then I did a shot of tequila. Yeah. Apparently, I'm the only one that can handle a shot of tequila. Like, I took it and I was like, ah! But, other than that, I was like, okay. everyone else had to stop for a second because they were this close from throwing up. Like they were like, ugh! And then they were all really fucking hungover the next day, and I wake up fresh as a daisy. I'm like, oh, yeah. Not to mention at the rehearsal dinner, I had another vodka cherry lemonade. I had something that I cannot for the life of me remember, and then I had a Bloody Mary. So.
We learned something about Jared. He can function while ridiculously fucked up with little to no side effects.
We all knew I was white girl wasted. We all knew that. Like I kept telling people we were playing Mario Kart, we were playing Super Smash Bros. I'm like, I hope you don't lose because you do not want to lose to a guy who's this fucking drunk.
If you lose, it's because you suck.
Yeah. So, and guess who got fourth in everything?
You.
This guy.
You did not lose.
So they
That's what I shoot for in life. I don't have to be first. I just don't want to be last.
So
right?
Well, fourth out of 4 people, I lost everyone. But what was nice too is like, so at the Up Down, you also have a projection screen that you can play the N64 for free. Mm-hmm. And it's just one. At the Cade, they have 3 TVs with tables, like booth tables, or 4 each one with an N64, and then they have a copy for each table of both Super Smash Brothers and Mario Kart.
Did the Cade have pinball?
I'm too drunk to remember. I think so. I was too drunk to remember. I'm pretty sure. I will say Up Down has a better pinball selection. Have you been to Up Down?
No, not yet.
I have never been.
Their pinball selection is superb. They have a Guardians of the Galaxy. They have a Ninja, like 1990s Ninja Turtles.
Oh, dude.
They have like Simpsons. They have Star Trek.
Do they have the Doctor Who one?
I don't know, but I know my brother-in-law Vince used to have that one, and that was rad as shit. Yeah. Like a dialect popped out and was like, exterminate! Like when you hit the right thing. And I lost my goddamn mind.
Speaking of Doctor Who, I recently got excited. I forgot that because I have Amazon Prime, I have Amazon Prime Video.
Mm-hmm.
You have all the Doctor Who. You have all of it.
They have all of Doctor Who, and they had all of Chuck on there, so I've been introducing my friend because he's never seen it.
Have you done Twitch Prime?
Yeah, I have Twitch
I was going to say you get free games.
Yeah.
They stopped though. They said they were going to do one for every day of the month, or every day for this month. They were going to do a new game, and they didn't. They've stopped about halfway through, which kind of sucks. But I still got Brutal Legend and Tacoma, so I'm happy.
A week before the 4th of July, I went to B3. Right, my dog chewed up my laptop charger. It's an expensive fix. They said it's a special one. It's going to cost you $85 because I have a gaming laptop. Takes a specific charger. He literally told me...
That's because he went to B3. I keep going.
He told me it'd be in a couple days, and I have waited for weeks, and I got so pissed off. I was like, I'm getting paid on Friday. I'm just going to go to Des Moines and buy one. I finally get a call today, like almost a month later, and the old lady from B3 is like, we got your charger in. I was like, that's a long-ass couple days.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't order... I would figure out whatever the model number is and then look it up.
The only reason I ordered from them is because I looked it up online, and everywhere online it was around $85 or more plus the shipping.
Oh.
Literally, he was like $85, and I was like,
I guess, yeah. But you got to get on Twitch Prime if you're not on Twitch Prime, because a lot of free games, not like AAA games.
No,
but good ones.
I got the Banner Saga for free. I was trying to play.
Yeah,
it's not my jam, but it's not a bad game.
I haven't touched it. I have it, but I haven't touched it.
It looks cool. I love the art style. It's just not my style of game.
They're doing SteamWorld Dig 1 next month, and I have SteamWorld Dig 2 from like a couple months back, which is ironic that they did SteamWorld Dig 2 and then they're doing SteamWorld Dig 1, but whatever. Right. But I do want to play SteamWorld Dig. Because I've heard it's great. The only thing that I regret is that it's not on the Switch. Because there's some games that are just better on the Switch.
It's got the Mega Man X collection.
Yeah, it did.
Which I might actually play because they added in an easy mode, and I'm terrible with those old-fashioned platformers. They're hard as shit for me.
Right.
And if there's an easy mode now and I can just play through for the story...
Hey, Tommy. There's a really simple solution. Get good.
Oh. Get good.
G-I-T-G-U-D, my man.
I gotta see what Chris has been saying.
Oh, shit, we forgot.
Oh, Chris, I'm sorry.
Chris, we're so sorry,
Chris
buddy.
Chris is here.
Oh God.
Jay wants to get Charlie Sheen wasted. No, I don't. Really, I don't.
No one needs to be that wasted.
Hashtag winning.
Jay, before you in the live stream, I forgot to say last week that it was my grandma you talked to, not my mom. She was at work at the time. Oh. Say hi to your grandma for me. Then the tornado is blowing. Western say, fuck it, let's go outside and watch it like a police chase going by your house. You know, it was another really fun thing is I was watching a guy get like pulled over by the police right in front of the movie theater, and just to be a fucking troll dick, I went and grabbed a bag of popcorn and just ate it while I watched him. Like slowly, I was like...
Did he look over? Did any of them see you?
I don't know.
You should not like I'm going on break, go outside with your popcorn, just stand on the curb, just.
I wanted to be a little careful because I didn't want the police being like, "Hey, back up." So I was like, "I'm just gonna stand in the window, just stare at them as I just eat popcorn."
They can't tell you to leave.
It's amazing how weird people get when someone's pulled over. Walking to work last night, and this car got pulled over on the side of the road, and there was 2 cop cars with their lights flashing, and then one of them without its lights flashing, and then an ambulance showed up with lights flashing. And I mean, of course, I was like, whatever, they pulled him over. As soon as the ambulance showed up, I was doing like every other person, like, what happened?
Midwesterners are nosy, dude.
People were driving by. People are so nosy. Like, you gotta slow down for cops, but instead of going, like, they would go into the other lane, and instead of continuing their speed, they would slow way down. You just see people, like, in the passenger seat poking out the window, or people driving real slow as soon as they get to the cops just to look at them. I'm like, Jesus, people.
My wife is that beautiful soul that laughs hysterically when she sees someone get pulled over. She's always sure looks at me and goes, "Shouldn't fucking speed." And I'm like, you don't know their story. I was like, that could ruin their lives. That $75 could be what feeds their baby. And she's like, "Shouldn't fucking speed." Keeps going. I'm just like, oh my God, I married a monster. She just laughs hysterically at anyone who gets pulled over. She thinks it's awesome. I'm like, I feel bad for people because I'm like, you know, like I can't afford a $75 ticket. I mean, I could, but it'd be really fucking inconvenient.
I just feel bad for people because they'll pull you over for anything now.
Mm-hmm.
One headlight looks slightly dimmer than your other one.
Idea. Traffic and like those kind of violations should be on a sliding scale. Not set numbers based on income. So if a rich asshole is speeding through a fucking school zone, slap him with a $2,500 ticket.
Right.
That'll fucking hurt him. Make it as inconvenient for him as a 75 would be for someone in the fucking blue collar workforce.
This is America. We don't charge rich people for being rich.
But then all those right wing people would lose their mind.
Yep.
Oh God!
Veterans first.
God forbid we promote equity instead of equality.
We should be a little careful. We're getting into the politics side, not the nerdy side.
Politics are nerdy.
Yeah, we should have a nerdy politics section or something, but we gotta be careful.
Start that podcast on Saturdays.
Oh man. So yeah. Well, I was gonna ask you though. Did you see the new Doctor Who trailer?
I did.
Looked pretty cool.
I am super excited. I've been excited from the beginning. It's something new. Doctor Who has been kind of stagnant here lately. It's something new. People were raging when they heard it was a female doctor.
Who fucking cares?
Literally looking up the lore.
It's a lot of people who care.
Doctors
doesn't matter.
The lore forever. And one of the things about female doctors is when they regenerated, they were able to choose what they regenerated into. Like they could choose their look. Like female doctors have been a thing in Doctor Who canon.
Yeah, I honestly, are you talking about female Time Lords or?
Yeah, female Time Lords.
Okay, I was like,
the mistress even implies that the doctor started as a little girl.
Yeah, like it's just people are afraid that because it's a female doctor, they're gonna do all that social justice warrior crap, and I was like, just stop.
Unpopular opinion: I want the female doctor to have a male love interest. Yes, please. Anyone?
Really?
Yes.
Yep.
That's what Nate wants.
I'm down.
Fuck what everyone thinks you're gonna do, like, cause everyone thinks, oh, female doctor, they're gonna give her a female love interest, make it a male.
Well,
throw people for a loop, dude.
Moffat's out, so the predictability.
I don't.
Might go down. They might just throw crap at us. Like I watched the trailer. There's like three other people that travel with her.
Fucking kill Clara now. Please.
I don't actually dig. I don't really dig the doctor. Like, it still feels really creepy to me. The doctor dating anyone.
Excuse me.
Outside of River Song. Like, I thought River was a good choice, but like the whole Dr. Rose thing was a little.
To be fair, he hadn't met River yet.
To me, it was a little forced.
It was really forced.
I don't like that. And then you have the fucking Mickey Licky Ricky Bitchy thing in the corner, pissing and moaning about it the whole time. It was excruciating. It really was this excruciating concept.
I loved the dynamic that Eleven had with Amy and Rory, because Amy loved him and he just loved her as a friend.
Right? Mm-hmm. I dug it. I just don't. I think it's weird to force this idea of this ancient alien and then some weird naive human wanting to like have a relationship. It just doesn't. It doesn't play. It doesn't play for me. It doesn't play.
The smartest companion he has ever had.
I feel it's gross. I do, however, think it might feel a little more natural having a hot doctor.
Puts me to shame as a man. He literally came back as a centurion and waited like 1,000+ years for his woman.
2,000.
I would not wait that long.
Like to me though, it's just one of those things. Like, I felt like it's just so forced, but I think maybe it'll work better this time having a hot female doctor. Like,
most of the doctors have been of questionable physical attractiveness.
Yeah, they're all kind of skinny and lanky and weird.
Matt Smith was alright.
Dude, Matt Smith bulked out for that Terminator movie he was in. Like,
he was in a Terminator movie.
Was it Genesis?
Yeah,
it was Genesis.
He's in Terminator Genesis. He's one of the bad guys.
I didn't bother to watch Terminator Genesis.
So here's the deal, okay?
Okay, people hate on Terminator Genesis.
I dug it.
I thought it was fine. When you see him in the beginning, I was picturing Matt Smith from Doctor Who. He's skinny, lanky, awkward,
yeah, he's
like
buff.
Doctor Who. He's ripped in this. Like, he's shredded. He got shredded, and it's really fucking weird to see him like that.
Christopher, does your wife like to watch the TV show Cop for the police chase or the Dog the Bounty Hunters? My wife's terrified of cops. One time we got pulled over because she had a light out, and it was daytime, so we didn't get a ticket or anything. But we had a headlight out. He pulled us over. Totally related with my wife because they both are from the same area. Mm-hmm. Like, even I think he might have even known her mom. I had the friendliest conversation. He leaves. She starts bawling because she's terrified of the police, and then had a horrible nightmare that night that he shot her in the forehead.
I don't like police either.
And she has nightmares from when she was a kid from watching Cops. Mm. Like, she like, Cops terrified the shit out of her, that show. I watched that show all the time when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, another tackle!
Hey guys, did I tell you my bullshit story on the podcast? Has that happened yet?
Which bullshit story?
The one,
I don't think so.
The one that involves cops.
Let's talk about the cops for a minute.
Alright, you guys want to talk about cops?
Yeah.
Alright, story time.
Let's be cops.
This story is called Drizzt is ordered to have a mandatory psychological evaluation by the Grinnell, Iowa Police Department for no particular reason whatsoever. Here we go.
I feel like you told half the story right there, or at least the punchline.
No, the punchline is far better than that.
Okay, keep going.
Alright, so, I went on vacation. I went on vacation in February, mid-February. And I got home around, maybe the 25th, 30th, you know. Not too late in the month, but, yeah.
Okay.
I got back, and, I was sick. So, what do people do when they're sick, Tommy?
Yeah.
No, something else. You go out for this.
Take NyQuil?
No.
Go to the doctor.
Yeah, there you go, Tommy. Tommy got it. I went to the doctor.
Eat an apple. Sorry.
So, I went to the doctor, and at the Grinnell Regional Medical Center, they make you fill out this thing. It's like, how you feeling in your brain? And, so it's like, how are you feeling? Do you think anything you do matters? Are you depressed? Do you want to kill yourself? So I score pretty high on these things, but I have coping mechanisms that help me feel like not such a sad boy. you know. But I'm honest with my doctors. I stopped lying to them years ago.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly. So I fill that out. Whatever. Nurse takes it away. My doctor comes in. She's like, scored pretty high on that. I'm like, yeah, it happens. And she's like, all right, let's see what's going on. And she's like, hey, you got an ear infection. I'll give you some antibiotics for that. Thank you. I get up to leave and grab the script. She goes, how you doing? And she's my primary care physician. She's my family doctor. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'd sit down and tell her I'm doing all right, I suppose. She's like, how's work? All right. Is there anyone there that you don't get along with? And I'm like, who the fuck works with people they love all the time? Can anyone? Have you ever had a job where you loved everyone you worked with?
No.
Either of you?
There's always a couple people where you're just like,
I fucking hate them. So yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, there are always people you don't like. She's like, is there anyone in particular? And I looked at her, and mind you, I'm gonna use some very, very coarse language here. Shocker, coming from me, right? So I looked at my doctor. I said to her, yeah, there's this one manager. She's an insufferable fucking cunt that makes me want to exsanguinate toddlers.
Oh shit, that's probably where you went wrong.
That's where I went wrong.
That's the downhill part of the slide.
We'll get back to that. And she just kind of blinks at me. And she hands me my script and I leave. It's pretty great. So, fly forward about a half hour. I'm at Hy-Vee getting supplies to make homemade chicken noodle soup with my girlfriend because I'm sick. And I get a text from my roommate and he says, hey man, there are 2 uniformed police officers at our house asking where you are and if you have a car. I'm like, well, what'd you tell him? He's like, I told him you're not here and your car's parked out back. You're fucking right, you did. So we finished buying our shit. And we swing by my house to grab my buddy Carter because he'd been in Texas for the last year and a half and I hadn't seen him. And I guess he wanted to come with me to the police department. Whatever. So we get there and I'm like, hey, hi, my name's Drizzt Davidson. I'm here because I heard you guys were like at my house. She's like, yeah, sit down over there. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I want to name drop this cop, but I'm not going to. Anyway, the cop pokes his head out the door, goes, hey, interview room 1. I'm like, okay, can do. So we get to the interview area, and he sits me down and he goes, Mr. Davidson, are you a violent person? No, sir, I'm a pacifist. Mr. Davidson, have you made any threats recently? No. I don't know if you know this, but, threats mean nothing from a pacifist. So we go back and forth like that for about 10 minutes. And he leaves the room. He's frustrated, clearly. And he comes back after about 45 to 85 seconds. And then I counted. He walked in.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, Mississippi.
He walks back in and he goes, we have it on good authority that you made a very serious threat recently. So I said, oh? What did I say, sir? Don't pretend like you don't know what you said. So, that's about the time my patience meter hit fucking 0. And I slam my hand on the table. I'm like, look, dude, quit giving me the fucking runaround and tell me why I'm here. We have it on good authority that you made a very serious threat. Yes, I heard that. Tell me what was said, or what I allegedly said. Sir, you don't remember saying you wanted to hurt children? Oh, you motherfucker. I was pissed. I was livid. And then I had to look at this motherfucker. Here's a direct quote. I looked at a cop and I said this. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I was using hyperbolous language and ghoulish overkill to illustrate my disdain for a certain human being. Here's what he did. Just fucking blinked at me. That's it.
That's probably because you used big words on him.
Motherfucker just fucking blinked at me. So I had to look at him and go, it was a joke. Dig it. It gets better.
It was a joke.
He looks at me and he goes, do you really think, in the climate of our nation, you should be telling jokes like that? Now, mind you, this was about 3 days after the Florida shooting.
Okay.
So I look at him and I say, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Are you the thought police? Is this 1984?
You are.
Wait for it.
You are a person who got to look at a police officer in the eye and ask them if they were the thought police. I fucking tip my hat to you, sir. That is a privilege to live that moment.
I got way more catty with it too. I looked at him and said, I'm sorry, sir, are you the thought police? Am I committing a thought crime? Against these imaginary children? Is this 1984? Sir? Have I had too much to think? Here's what he did. Here's what he did. Just go to the hospital and get a psychological evaluation. No. That's fucking stupid. He's like, just go. If they clear you, all of this goes away.
All of this goes away.
Like, I haven't done anything, therefore there is nothing to clear. You have a flimsy half threat that I made in the competence of a fucking doctor. Just go to the hospital and get a mandatory psychological. Fuck it. Why not? And then I threw my hands in the air and said, I'm not resisting. You know, to be an ass. And there's more. There's more.
Well, wait, there's more.
But wait. This gets stupider. I get to the hospital, right? And they get me checked in. The nurses, they come in, they're doing my vitals and everything. So like, I know both of them actually. One of them just from being in the hospital a bunch, and the other one because I used to work for her at the dairy barn. And they both look. They're like, Drizzt, what are you doing here? What's going on? Why are you here? Well, in my world, nothing is going on today, and I'm here for no reason. But apparently, I'm a danger to society, according to the Grinnell Police Department. Oh. Why? So then I told them the story I just told you two, up until that point. And they look at me and they go, that's dumb. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And yet here I am.
And here I sit, in somewhat tentative holding by the police department in the fucking hospital, awaiting a psychological evaluation. So, Jeanette leaves, which is the one I used to work for. And then Gail, she's tacking away on her keyboard, getting the story straight, all that jazz. And she looks at me and goes, are you educated? I was like, I guess. She's like, well, you just use really big words and you use them very well. I'm like, okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. I have some higher education, but for the most part, I'm what's called an autodidact. Someone who educates themselves. I have a thirst for knowledge that only books can quench, Tommy. I know you feel me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she's like, oh, okay. And then she's, tacking away. And she's like, all right, the doctor will be in soon. Thank you very much, Gail. And then the doctor comes in. And this man, I have known him since I've existed. Quite literally, he delivered me.
Oh, cool.
When I was born.
Okay.
He goes, Drizzt, why are you here? Like, oh boy, do I have a story for you, dog.
I couldn't keep my goddamn mouth shut.
He goes, I tell him the story I just told you to, up until the point where he walks in the room, and he says, wow, that's stupid. I said, isn't it?
Isn't it?
So he asked me all the bullshit psychological questions. Are you gonna hurt yourself? No. Are you gonna hurt anyone else? No. Do you have a plan? No. Do you own a gun?
Cheetos.
Do you own a gun? No. I have to explain to him that I'm a pacifist and I have no need for guns. Okay, he's like, alright, I'm gonna go get some water and I'll be right back. And that's around the time my mother walked into the emergency room. And Tommy, are you aware of my mother's wrath? You were in high school at some point when my mother was in there screaming, yes?
Maybe.
Or just in general, my mother.
Yeah, my aunt was 2 doors down.
Okay, so yeah. Yeah. Jared, you went to college with her, so yeah,
I get you. I feel you.
Don't get me wrong, my mother is a wonderful person. I love her so very much.
I think every mother has a wrath.
I will fight anyone with my fists for her, but dear God, do not fuck with her children. So my doctor, he goes to the water fountain, and the water fountain just so happens to be right next to the reception desk in the area, and my mom walks in and just goes, Francis! And he fucking jumps, just about drops his fucking water bottle. Sitcom moment. And he looks and he sees it's my mom. He goes, oh, fuck. And he runs back to the room I'm in. He goes, hey, man. He doesn't call me Nick. Hey, man. He doesn't call me Drizzt. He doesn't call me Mr. Davidson. He goes, hey, man.
Hey, man, you gotta get out of here.
Hey, man, is it okay if I bring your mom and your girlfriend back to, corroborate some of the things you're saying? I'm like, that is absolutely fine. And then I just to be a dick, I threw my hands up and was, I'm not resisting again. So he brings him back and he asks him all the same questions as me, and they're like, yeah, no, he doesn't hurt people. He doesn't hurt himself. Why would he own a gun? And they're like, how's he been mentally? And my mom looks at him and goes, my son has been doing better in the last 7 months than he has been doing in the last 8 years of his life. If you try to detain him, you will be sorry.
Is this story like a long-running gag of how your mom ended up in a psych institute for like a week?
No. So he's like, all right, we're just going to get the social worker in here. By the way, this is our 6th wellness check today, accompanied by a psychological evaluation. I don't know if you guys know anything about wellness checks, but that is astronomical for one day.
That's a lot, yeah.
That is too goddamn. He was tired. He was visibly tired. He wanted nothing more than to go to bed.
Do you think of it like it was the same officer?
No, I'll get to that.
Okay.
So the social worker comes in. She asks me, why are you here? So I have to tell her the same story I just told both of you. Up until the moment she walked in the room.
And the cop, and the nurses, and the doctor.
Thank you! Yes! So she goes, wow. That's ridiculous. I said, isn't it though?
Isn't it?
She asked me all the same questions the doctor did. No, I'm not gonna hurt anyone. No, I don't hurt myself. I don't have a gun. I don't have a plan to use a gun. And she looks at me and goes, do you have a support system? I was like, oh fuck, do I?
Mom!
I rattled off about 15 names of friends and family I could call if I were in trouble, and then I was like, then I got my girlfriend, and I got my mother.
My champion.
My hero.
My hero.
And she looks at me and goes, "That's very intricate and well thought out." And I shit you not, I looked at her and went, "This isn't my first rodeo, man."
And then you held up your hands instead of not resisting.
So she's like, "All right, I think I've heard enough. You're free to go." I was like, "Thank you." That was 4.5 hours of my life I'm never gonna get back. But here's the fucking kicker. A police officer did not call a wellness check on me.
Who's your doctor?
It was profiling.
Oh, it was
That
profiling.
was my doctor. She profiled me.
So,
She saw that I did poorly on the mental evaluation at the beginning of my appointment, and then I said something she perceived as unsavory, and then she called the fucking cops on me.
so, like, you've never gone back to her, right?
No.
I was gonna say, fuck that lady. Like, that's unfortunate.
Fuck her with a cactus.
You said you're gonna get back to the Oh no, I think that was you getting back to the play. Because I was thinking the police officer was sending people
back to the police officer. The particular police officer that interviewed me that day was not only dense, he was also a fucking asshole. And by some miracle you see this officer who will remain nameless. I don't like you, and I truly hope you either lose your job or your life just falls into complete disarray.
Oh, to lose your job is probably the fairest. That might put his life into disarray. Because what do you do after that?
Find a new job.
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of police officers, like, you know, like,
Keep on trucking.
there's one police officer broke his finger, can't work anymore because he can't pull a trigger. So it's like,
What an injury to fuck up your whole career.
right? So that's your whole career, that's your pension, that's everything gone because you broke your finger. And so I'm like, what the fuck does he do now? Like, what do you do when you're forced out? These police officers, you know, and we always talk about, like, there's a lot of discussion in America about, and we're gonna tread slightly political, but just with a point to the fact that there's a lot of police officers out there that, like, you know, they do something horrible, you know, maybe someone ends up dead, maybe they end up injuring someone, or they just get, like, way too overly aggressive, and we call for them to be fired, which I understand. I think there has to be a conversation about it, but what the fuck do they do after that? They become a police officer after that? Do they bag groceries? Do they learn tech?
They bag groceries. They become a member of the fucking 2.5. You know what the 2.5 is, Jared?
Is the people, the broke ass bitches?
No,
or
the 2.5 are mall cops and college security, because they're not good enough to be the 5 fucking O.
They Paul Blart that shit.
So that's what I've always wondered is like, what happens? Like, what is the plan after that? Like, nobody talks about it.
If okay, I might be a little
I'm not drawing a line at for or against police officers.
I'm just saying I might be a little biased or just angry person in general, but if you kill someone without proper intent, or if you beat someone with no reasoning, or if you just bodily remove, like, for instance, 2 black gentlemen standing in a Starbucks for no particular reason other than the barista called you and was scared because they were black people in your Starbucks.
Yeah.
You should be fucking fired. That is unfucking acceptable.
So but I just ask, like, not as a defense or anything, but I ask as a curiosity.
As a curiosity, why, or just what happens?
What happens?
Life happens, Jared.
Like, where do they go?
Who fucking cares?
What are their options? I just think it's an important question.
Their options are whatever they can get.
Yeah. Can they get a job on a different police force?
I don't know.
Can they get a job on the 2.5? Can they get a job?
The 2.5, they don't carry guns.
Do they have to bag groceries? Do they have to, you know, like, what do they do? It's just a curiosity of mine. I was thinking about that the other day.
Like a fucking Motley Crue behind the music-esque kind of situation.
I don't want to feel sorry. I don't want to feel sorry for them. I just want to know what happens to them after that. You know, it's like,
to quote Rick Sanchez, "Don't think about it, because it doesn't matter."
But I want to think about it. I think it does matter in a way. It's a life. I mean, we all have lives. You know, what the fuck happens? Like, when I got fired, my boss didn't give a fuck what I went to go do. He tried to pretend. He wanted to know what I was going to do. I was like, fuck you. Walked out. But, like, it's just this idea of, like, you it's a life, and it's a everyone's got their place, or we want everyone to have a place, even though not everyone has a place. Like this whole conversation about homeless vets and stuff, everyone seems to think there's an answer that can be solved with money. Like, if you actually look into the question of what happens to homeless vets and how do we fix this problem, you realize it's not as simple as money or effort. There's this constant parallel of, like, we can't help such and such people because we have homeless vets. We need to help ourselves first. I don't know why you can't help both at the same time. I don't know why you don't understand that homeless vets is an extremely complicated, sensitive issue that shows how fucking callous you are. I'm getting political. It frustrates me, but it's a life, they're all lives, and you wonder, like, how do these people, because a lot of these police officers have kids, they have wives, they have really nice expensive mortgages, it's a fucking weird
where they
situation
is in the wind. I'll bring you back to
the answer, my friend.
Exactly.
Is blowing in the wind.
But
you're in a different song than I am.
I'll bring you back to the quote I mentioned back in our writing stream. It's chaos. Be kind.
Someone actually put it. So I was listening to Joe Rogan, and they had a podcast quote. This guy was quoting the Dalai Lama, and it changed my entire view of how I want to approach things.
All right. And
he just basically said, it's one question: does it end suffering? Any action you take, is it going to end suffering? So then you start thinking about, like, protests, and you start thinking about, like, boycotting Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah, dude, that's the whole basis of non-secular moral philosophy, my dude.
It's a quote to live by. Does it end suffering? It's beautiful. It really is. Like, this idea of, like, maybe we should all start pulling our heads out of our asses.
I have a question for the two of you. Do you
think
have
that
rules? Like, as human beings, do you have rules that you've elected to sit down and write that you have for yourself?
I've not written a rule, but I have rules that I go by, like, don't...
Man's got to have a code, right?
Yeah, don't harm somebody. If it doesn't harm... So if it doesn't harm someone, I don't feel it's worth taking an action against. So this idea of transgender politics...
Who fucking cares?
Exactly. Does it fucking harm anyone?
Who cares what kind of hardware someone wants, man?
If it comes down to the point where that person wants to harm someone else, then... So it's this idea of, like, sexual abuse, that's harm. But so many people try to blur the line, and it's like, no, there's a line there. If someone wants to change their own body, that's fine. If they want to change their own body and harm someone, that crosses the line.
If it doesn't hurt anybody in any way whatsoever, just leave them be.
Yeah, and that's what, and I get that from Philip DeFranco. Like, he talks about, like, he's like, it doesn't hurt anybody. What's the point?
Yeah.
Like, why are you so pissed?
It doesn't affect you emotionally. It's not gonna, like, destroy you inside. Just let them be who they are.
Yeah, as long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't care.
What are a couple of your rules other than that, Jared?
I try. Okay, this I learned from my mom. Really working on defining the lines of what's worth a battle and what's not. So,
you try to pick your battles.
Yeah, there we go. Try to pick my battles, and I pick them carefully. Depending on what time of day, I pick them easier. There have been times where some people have woken me up at 6 a.m. to piss me off, and I come at them like a fucking bear.
I run at them like a fucking freight train.
Yeah, they realized how pissed it is. But it's just this idea of, like, if it doesn't, like, I have to realize what matters and what doesn't. Mm-hmm. So if it just pisses me off at the moment, Another thing I like to do is always look from someone else's perspective. I like to take a minute to look from someone else's shoe. As an actor, it's what I was trained to do.
I mean, you literally have to be another person, so...
So you try not to speak out of turn.
Yeah.
One of the best examples is my cousin once said to me, we were talking about, again, we're getting political. We were talking about the people who have illegally come here. And I said, what if someone was like, what if your family, your entire family, you and your children, because she has kids, what if they were all in danger? And your only way to escape is to illegally go to another country. And her words were, I would never put myself in that situation. And I thought, what blind fucking ignorance.
Have a choice.
I know. I asked her to put herself in their shoes.
And she refused.
And she just basically took the shoes, moved them, and stepped in her own shoes where those shoes would be. So I try to like look from someone else's perspective, and in any situation, I try and find the best in someone. And there are times where, you know, but then if we get down to like, do not cross my line, don't fuck with my dad.
The brass tacks.
Don't fuck with my dad. Like, and it's funny because like a friend of mine who was son of the guy that fired me, and I was basically bitching on Snapchat about it, and he saw it, and I fucked with his dad, and it was really interesting seeing it from the outside because I knew exactly where he was coming from. It was, don't fuck with my dad. It doesn't have to matter. But the thing is my dad is a different type of person. My dad wouldn't fuck with you unless it came down to the point. So like, there's really no reason to fuck with my dad, you know? And so, and I've even accepted that if my dad did something unspeakable, I would have to come to terms with it. But don't fuck with my dad. Like, I've had weird fantasies of like police coming to get my dad, and I'm like, that's where I die, because I go fucking at him. You know, like, it's just, but I think I'm
sorry.
I'm pacifist to human beings. I'm very violent when it comes to inanimate objects. That's just how I am. Those, you know.
What about you, Tommy? What are some of your rules?
One of them, I try not, kind of like Jared, I try to like look at the world through other people's eyes. I try not to prejudge people, which is hard because I think as human beings we are hardwired to just instantly judge people based on how they look or what they wear, and so I try not to do that. And it sounds cliche, they tell you it all the time growing up, but I literally try and treat others how they treat me. Like, that's just a major rule. If you're going to treat me like shit, I'm not going to bother with you. If you're going to be there for me, be my friend, be nice to me, I will give you the shirt off my back. Like, those are my two major rules.
Good.
I am kind of a super pacifist just because of how I grew up and the shit I went through too. Like, I abhor violence. Like, so much so that there was even a couple times in school where I got in fights where I just didn't defend myself because I don't like conflict. I just let myself get beat up.
Yeah, I think do unto others as you would want done unto yourself is a good sum up of a code.
That's a good way to live your life. I have 3 that I follow most of the time. I have a total of 8, but the other ones don't matter. I actually sat down and wrote them down, and I used to carry them on my person because sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have a rage problem.
No. Yeah.
I guess if you think about it, like the idea that you write down a code, you really, it's a strong evaluation to sit down and think, okay, what are the things that are just a part of my nature? And what are the things that I actually need to remind myself? And the list of the things that you need to remind yourself should be your code. But because what we explained was sort of in our nature, but keep going.
The two that I abide or try to abide, they're rules 1 and 2. It's do no harm, cause no pain. If I can do those, then I know I'm at least leaving the world marginally better than when I showed up. And sometimes I have to actively remind myself to do both of those things. Because I get very, very angry sometimes. And I cannot control my anger. So
I'm my problem is like, whenever it comes to my anger, it's like I will never want to harm a living creature. Like I hate it. But whenever it comes to like that bookshelf,
that fucking bookshelf,
or my controller, it's like I don't mind busting a bitch in half. And that's where I kind of lose out from time to time. Like one time, I will be honest with you, there was one time I got so frustrated. There was this game called Marvel Ultimate Alliance that I was playing.
Oh, I love it.
And I spent, I think I want to say like $800 on this computer, and because of that game, I put my fist through the screen all the way out the back of the computer. It took several hits, but I mean, it was and I still think about that laptop from time to time. But it's inanimate objects. I just like it. I become a little blind, and it becomes like satisfactory to destroy that thing. It's a little more difficult now that I'm like married, because all of our, like, everything in here is not just mine, it's mine and my wife's.
So what's hers is yours. So
we have to, like, it's a shared thing. So like if I destroy something, it's not just my thing anymore. So it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
It's really hard.
Yes, it is.
Well, when you're infuriated, and it's stupid things like I'll stub my toe or something. Like, oh, I got so pissed the other day and it hurt all day too, and I stubbed my toe yesterday morning on this fucking chair.
My third rule. It's not so much that I have to remind myself, it's just something that I like to remember. I grew up, as I'm sure everyone has figured out by now, I grew up in a trailer park. I'm not from what people would call a well-to-do family.
Right.
So
samies.
I've acquired the mentality of I can take care of myself. I can pay for my own shit, So I've adapted the idea of do not take what is not freely given. It's not just don't steal. It's don't like if somebody's like, hey, here, then I will take it from them. But if they're just like skirting around and they're like, well, if you want it, you can have it, I'm like, no. Unless I get the words, please take this, I will not fucking take it from you.
So one of the interesting things is I used to argue with Darian about tips. Because when I worked at the deli, we got tips.
Of course.
And Darian had this weird code against tips. And I finally just looked at him one day and I said, I will fire you if you do not take your fucking tips home. And he said, okay. But he said it was something that was ingrained in him at Hy-Vee, like tips are bad. But I like, it was the weirdest code, because I had to assertively look at him and say, take these tips or I will write you up. Like, I was so mad.
When you work for a company like Hy-Vee or Fairway or Walmart, you are not allowed to accept gifts, and that includes monetary tips.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand, like, if he worked at Hy-Vee for so fucking long.
And that's your first job, too. Yeah, like, that was his first job.
If he's not used to the concept of people giving him money for doing a good job.
Yeah, well, and it becomes part of your pay. I mean, the way that I operate right now is that I have this understanding with my customers and my boss that because I earn tips, that those customers are partially my boss now, and that I have to make everyone happy, which is a different way to look at it than...
That sounds exhausting.
If you're at Walmart, and you're like, you're paid by one person way down the line who gives no fucks about you, whether you're fired or you're not. Like, honestly, like, you get your paycheck, you go and you do it, and then you have these asshats who come in and inconvenience you, even though they're the reason you have the job, but you're still like, Fuck these assholes.
Like, dude,
it's a different perspective.
I don't have time.
When you have this,
where the salt-free kidney beans are. I'm
Yeah,
trying
and
to
it's a-
stock the pasta aisle.
it's a different perspective when they become.
You tell them exactly where it is. And that, could you just take me? I
Yeah.
told you right where it is. And then I take them, and they're like,
It's listed on the fucking signs that are hanging 9 feet above your head.
I can tell you the exact item number, what shelf it's on, and what placement on that shelf it is, but you won't fucking listen to me.
Right.
So follow me, you dense motherfucker.
And then you take them there, and then every time I have to stop raging because they're like, "Oh, it's exactly where you said it would be," and then I'm like, "Oh."
But it's this mutual respect. Like when you're a waiter, like you like this is also my boss, and they are also actively deciding how much they want to pay me. So you have this new mutual respect, and then you get the asshats who don't tip. And
I have a friend that is literally like that. I've been to the Frontier Cafe 4 or 5 times with him because I mean it's cheap food. So
Mhm.
cheap week filling.
we've been several times, and 2 of the times we went, he would point blank. I was like, "I'll get the tip," and he looked right at us, and he's like, "No, I'll get the tip, guys." So we all went outside, and we're waiting on him, and then he came outside, and he's like, "I didn't tip," and we were like, "Why?" And he literally complained because even though the waitress working at the time was the only one there, and she was working for the whole place, she still made it to our table every 5 to 6 minutes. And he said that that was way too much. That apparently when he goes to a restaurant, he wants to see the waitress like twice the whole time he's eating.
You're supposed to go about 2 to 3 times maximum.
And yeah, we saw her like 4 times the
Yeah.
time we were there, and he's like, "That was like 3 times too many, so I didn't leave a tip." I'm like, "Jesus."
Listen, from a waiter's perspective, if you guys want to leave a message, and this is to Tommy's friend specifically, if you want to leave a message, if you do not tip, if you tip $0 to that person, you are probably a cheap asshole. That's how you're not teaching anybody a lesson,
Yeah,
you righteous motherfucker. So here's what I'm going to say, okay? This is how you leave a message. Put down a penny or 2. If you leave a penny or 2, that shows that waiter or waitress that you have actively decided to tip them, but at the lowest possible amount because you did not appreciate their work.
Well, and it wasn't like she was coming all the time to be bothersome. She noticed we had drinks that needed to be
Yeah, you have to refill
showed
drinks.
up.
And that shouldn't count. On
No,
the
it
amount of
didn't
times
count,
that you see them, that shouldn't count. Them
And,
keeping
like-
your drinks full
And yeah,
is an
she gave a
expectation.
bunch to keep our drinks full, because what me and my buddies do when we go out to eat is we'll just sit and bullshit for a bit. We'll eat and
Yeah.
we'll talk after we eat. She just kept coming and refilling drinks, and he thought that she came several times too many. I was like, well, I'm appreciative that my glass was full the whole time we were chilling.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just good work. And the thing is I'm the opposite type of person. As soon as you're done eating and I've given you refills, I don't touch your drinks unless you ask me to.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know why? Because I expect you to fucking leave. It's called table turnover. The fact that you sit there and chat, that waitress is probably infuriated.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then you don't tip her, and that's even worse because you should be paying that woman for renting that table
All right,
for as long as you are.
I got something to say about.
I'm an angry waiter.
I got something to say about the Frontier Cafe. They have something there called the Cowboy Burger. And it's my favorite burger. It's got the fried onions on it with jalapenos. It's barbecue sauce.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
I go there with my dad one day. As you know, he's like, hey, let's hang out. We don't do that very often. We do a lot more now, but this is long story. Anyway,
Long
he's
story,
like,
okay.
hey, let's go have lunch. I was like, all right, Dad, let's do that. So we go to Frontier Cafe. I order the Cowboy Burger with the fries. Get some chili. Start off, because you know, I'm a cowboy.
I'm a cowboy.
Yippee-ki-yay. Anyway, so I get my chili. I'm bullshitting with my dad. We're sitting there. We're sipping our sodas, having a high ho time, and we got our food. And my dad, he gets his I think he got like some fettuccine or some pasta, and my burger gets there. I take a bite out of it. I'm like, something's wrong. So I swallow the bite I just took. I take the top bun off my burger, and I notice I haven't any jalapenos on my burger, and
Okay.
it is not the lack of jalapenos that is tipped me off to the absence of jalapenos. It is the horizontally sliced green olives that are dusted with chili powder, chili powder on my sandwich that tip me off that I do not have any jalapenos.
Wait, did they? Okay, so are you telling me that they were like, oh my god, we don't have jalapenos. I have a plan.
The old switcheroo.
Are you telling me that
this time
they covered green olives in chili powder
and put it on my fucking sandwich
to try to make you not notice that there's no jalapenos? That's not lazy. That's fucking stupid. Like, like
I
wasn't even mad. I couldn't stop laughing.
I would have been like, all right, Dad, we're going to the kitchen. And I'd have been like, you sons of bitches.
You cheeky
fuckers. Like, did you really think I was going to be like, yeah, that tastes like a jalapeno?
Look at me, I'm a fat bastard. I know what food tastes like, alright?
This don't taste like spicy goodness.
Oh my god.
That happened. Oh, would you guys like to hear my track record for things I found in cafeteria food?
Do it.
At my school.
What did you find?
Okay, at the bottom of the list, I found a feather in one of my popcorn chicken bites, which, understandable.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I found a really long scale and part of a spine in a fish stick one time.
All right.
Once again, understandable.
Fish sticks are fucking random.
Yeah,
it can happen.
You can't help it. It's not their fault. But this one, it haunts me to this day. I took a bite out of a burrito at my school, and I found a human molar. I found a human molar.
Oh.
That was not mine. So here's what I did, boys. What I did was I spat that into a napkin, and then I dropped my whole tray into a trash can, and then I went home.
Peace. Oh my god.
I could not deal with the rest of that school day.
You just walk into the house, Mom, I'm done. Why?
I'm scarred.
I'm done for the day. I found a human molar in a burrito today.
There's so many questions as to origin of that molar. Like, did it come from one of the lunch ladies? Or did it come from the packing plant for that burrito?
But I miss...
You can buy those wholesale.
Yeah, you can buy them.
Where do you buy them?
You can buy them from different restaurant places. You can buy them from the lunch.
Or you can just walk up to the lunch ladies and be like, hey.
They'll sell you
a box of burritos. Or a box of Crispitos. And be like, all right.
We talked about
$60.
We talked about at Westside. My buddy Lucas and I talked about splitting them, like splitting a box, because Matt can get them for us at Westside. So we thought about buying a whole box and splitting them in half.
How much is a box?
I have no memory, but he wanted to like split, and it was like, I think I would have ended up at like 75, and I was like, that's like, I'm gonna have to actively take space in my tiny freezer. Now that I'm buying a house, though, I'm gonna put a deep freeze in there.
The worst school lunch experience I ever had was on a Crispito day, and I ate my 3 Crispitos, and I was hungry, and I went back and got more, and I was still hungry, and I went back and got more. And one of my friends is like, this is ridiculous. You've had 9. And I was like, dude, I didn't eat yesterday. I slept all day. Like, I'm hungry. So my friend bought me 3 more. And so that makes 12. And then I had 2 other people who were like, God, you ate 12. How many can you eat? And I was like, I don't know. So 2 other people bought me another set of 6. And I ate those. And then the bell rang for my lunch period to be ending. And I was like, I have open campus right now. So I'm going to stay. And like 2 people had showed up. And they were like, oh my God, how many have you eaten?
18.
How many can you eat? I ate 21 Crispitos, and then I drank 7 chocolate milks. And I was fine after the Crispitos till I drank the 7 chocolate milks, and then I was in the bathroom the rest of the school day throwing up.
Chocolate milk is like really heavy.
Yeah.
Like it goes straight down there. Like it's weird. I've never understood it. Okay, guys. Well, it is 2, and we just started talking about Crispitos. So I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're gonna let you guys go. We might work something out, but keep an eye out for us next week. What do you think about doing the writing podcast at 11 again next week?
That works.
Tom, do you want to show up for the writing podcast? I feel so sorry I never invited you.
Sure, I'll show up.
Okay, so we're gonna do a writing podcast on Twitch at Diehm.
Join the Diehm stream.
Yeah, join the Diehm stream, and we're gonna do a writing podcast for an hour, and then at noon we're gonna switch over and do our podcast. Diehm. Sorry, that was.
Join the Diehm team.
It's the join the Diehm stream. Welcome to Team Diehm.
Join the Diehm
Say that 10
team.
times.
We're here on the Diehm stream.
I gotta go. I'm so hungry. So we'll see you guys next week.
Deem it.
Keep an eye out for that stuff. Again, you can download us.
Just deem it.
Just deem it.
Anyway.
Deem it, everybody.
Alright, I swear we're going.
Seriously.
Download us on Google, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, or CastBox. Put a little nerdy in your pocket.
Fuck you.
And then you can watch us live every Wednesday at noonish. And then we'll figure out a schedule for the writing podcast sometime. But you can check those things out, and they'll all pop up pretty soon on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and CastBox. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Still bye. Keep on.